Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. You know, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets?
Exactly. So
Ever feel like tech news is a roller coaster?
it is.
Today we're diving into the forces marriage, shaping the future of your favorite platforms, from TikTok's uncertain fate to the rise of new power players like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's a wild ride, and understanding what's really going on can be tough.
It can be.
Luckily, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So let's kick things off with the elephant in the room, TikTok.
Okay.
This app has been making headlines for all sorts of reasons lately.
It has.
Bids, bans, data concerns, you name it.
It really highlights how tech, politics, and business are all intertwined.
Yes.
You can't separate them anymore.
No.
Take the calls to separate TikTok's U.S. operations from its Chinese parent company, ByteBands.
Right.
That's driven by national security concerns, but it also has massive business implications.
Huge implications, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes game, that's for sure.
It is.
Speaking of high stakes, did you hear about what went down at Davos?
No.
One of the potential bidders set up a future house,
Wow.
showcasing TikTok's potential, and it was the place to be.
Interesting.
Investors and influencers were swarming the place.
It's a testament to the platform's value and the potential shakeup a sale could cause. It's like everyone's holding their breath to see where this incredibly popular app lands.
I know.
What do you think is the best path forward? Sale shutdown or something else entirely?
Really tough question.
Yeah.
But while we ponder that, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture of tech innovation.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk about the U.S. and China going head-to-head, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. And the approaches are pretty different.
Yeah.
In the U.S., we're seeing a surge in private sector investment pouring into AI and data centers.
Right.
Meanwhile, China's approach is much more state-driven with massive government-led initiatives.
Just like two very different paths to the same destination.
Yeah.
And the stakes are high. I mean, get this. Goldman Sachs predicts that powering all these AI advancements will require an extra 50 gigawatts of energy.
Wow.
That's like powering a whole small country.
It's mind-boggling, and it highlights just how important infrastructure investment is going to be in this race. But it's not just about who spends more, it's about who innovates better.
Right.
And that's where international alliances come in. The U.S. is actively working with other countries to share knowledge and resources, but navigating those relationships can be tricky.
It's like a global game of chess, with each move having huge consequences.
For sure.
What does all this mean for you, the listener? Well, think about it. These advancements in AI could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, transportation, communication.
Lots of possibilities.
But there are risks, too, like potential job displacement and ethical concerns.
That's the thing about technology. It's not inherently good or bad, but it's powerful.
Yeah.
So understanding how it's developing and the forces at play is crucial.
Yep.
It allows you to make informed decisions, whether that's about your career, your investments, or even just how you engage with these technologies in your daily life.
It's about taking control of your digital future rather than letting it control you.
Right?
So while we're on the topic of powerful forces, let's shift gears and talk about the rise of influencers.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about your typical Instagram stars.
I see.
I'm talking about podcasters like Joe Rogan. These guys are reaching millions of listeners and shaping conversations in ways we haven't seen before.
It's a fascinating development. Think about it. Traditional media outlets are struggling to stay relevant while these podcasters are building massive followings and commanding serious influence. And it's not just about entertainment either. Studies have shown that Rogan's content often aligns with broader political trends, which is pretty significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like they've become the new town square where people gather to hear different viewpoints and form opinions.
Yeah.
Which is great in terms of democratizing information. But it also raises questions about accountability and potential bias.
Of course.
I mean, these platforms are powerful,
Okay.
and with that power comes responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's where you, the listener, come in.
Yes.
Do you listen to podcasts? If so, how do you think they compare to traditional media in terms of trust and influence? Are they more reliable, more relatable, or just more entertaining? These are questions worth considering as you navigate this evolving media landscape.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It's interesting you bring up trust and influence because those factors play a huge role in the business side of things, particularly for platforms like TikTok. Right. Remember all that uncertainty we talked about?
All right.
It's having a real impact on advertisers.
Oh, absolutely. Think of it from a brand's perspective. You want to reach a young, engaged audience, and TikTok seems like a dream come true.
It does.
But then all this drama unfolds, and suddenly that dream seems a bit risky.
Exactly. And the recent blackout, even though temporary, really highlighted TikTok's vulnerability. When that happened, brands saw their traffic from TikTok plummet to zero overnight.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call for sure. Even though things are recovering, there's still a sense of hesitation. Brands are starting to prioritize stability and reliability, which is why we're seeing platforms like Alphabet with Google and YouTube and even Pinterest benefiting from this whole situation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pinterest is a great example of how perceptions can shift.
Right.
It's often overlooked, but they've quietly built a reputation for being brand safe and delivering results. Now, with all this uncertainty swirling around TikTok, Pinterest is looking more and more appealing to advertisers.
It's like the classic underdog story. But let's be real, a lot of TikTok's success comes down to its algorithm. It's incredibly powerful at connecting users with content they love, which is a goldmine for advertisers. Oh, for sure. You're spot on. TikTok's algorithm is its secret sauce, but it's also a potential point of weakness. Any major changes, like a change in ownership or even just tweaks to appease regulators, could disrupt that delicate balance.
Yeah, it's like messing with a winning recipe.
Yeah.
You might end up with something totally different and not necessarily better. So you've got brands worried about instability and potentially an algorithm in flux. That's a lot for TikTok to grapple with.
It's a high-wire act, that's for sure. They need to reassure both users and advertisers that they're still a safe bet, a platform worth investing in.
It all boils down to trust, doesn't it?
I think so.
Users need to trust TikTok to keep delivering that addictive, personalized experience, and brands need to trust that their ads will reach the right people and actually convert.
Trust is the currency of the digital age. And as we've seen with TikTok, it can be incredibly fragile.
So true. This whole situation is a microcosm of the bigger challenges facing all online platforms. I mean, we're in an era of increasing scrutiny and regulation with data, privacy, content moderation, and algorithmic bias all under the microscope.
It's not just about tech anymore. It's about society. How do we balance innovation with responsibility? How do we ensure these powerful platforms serve humanity, not the other way around?
These are questions every listener should be asking themselves. Don't just passively consume information. Be critical. Think about the platforms you use, the content you see, the voices you trust.
Exactly. Be an active participant in shaping the digital world, not just a bystander. Demand transparency, hold platforms accountable, and most importantly, stay informed.
That's such a crucial point. Knowledge is power, especially in this rapidly changing digital landscape. But don't worry, we're here to help you navigate it all. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from TikTok's uncertain future to the rise of podcasters like Joe Rogan, and everything in between.
It's been quite the journey, but I think it's important to step back and consider what it all means for us, the everyday users navigating this rapidly evolving digital world.
You're right. It's easy to get lost in the headlines and tech jargon. But at the end of the day, technology impacts all of our lives.
Exactly. And I think the key takeaway here is the importance of being an informed and engaged digital citizen. We can't just passively consume information.
Right.
We need to think critically about the sources we trust, the platforms we use, and the potential consequences of these technological advancements.
It's like we've been saying throughout this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. The more you understand about how these technologies work, the forces driving their development, and the impact they have on society, the better equipped you are to navigate the digital landscape and make informed decisions.
And it's not just about protecting yourself. It's about shaping the future. Your choices as a consumer, as a voter, and as a participant in the digital world have a real impact.
So true. We've seen how brands are starting to prioritize platforms that align with their values and how individual voices like those of podcasters are shaping public opinion. You have a voice, and it matters.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to use it. Ask questions, demand transparency, and hold these platforms accountable for their actions.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy these deep dives, and I hope our listeners have found them insightful and engaging.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.